You gotta wonder how much the rain's gonna come up.
Shall I try out the contact lenses?
Yeah, I like how you're talking without a microphone.
Oh, right. This thing, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not used to that.
Try to not breathe excessively into the microphone.
You noticed that as well?
Yeah, I did. That's why I do this a lot.
When you're not speaking?
Yes, when I'm not speaking, if I've got to breathe.
Good call.
Who's
Hard
paying
to
me
remember
my
these.
fucking watch?
That's why I don't have one of those. Plus, this weird thing started happening where my phone, while it was automatic with the time, date settings,
Yes.
I'd get home, and then within 10 minutes, the phone is locked to half an hour behind the real time.
Listen, it just sounds like to me that you've got a shit ton of problems with your phone, whether it's this or it's Facebook.
I just couldn't work it out. I ended up just changing it to
Next
manual.
thing you're going to tell me that, like, it fucking... Yeah, no, the battery just for some reason just goes like this.
No, it's fine. That's the one good thing about it. The battery lasts all day. So we have that. But yeah, I guess you've already started.
Yeah, I suppose so. No cold open this episode. Or not, maybe. Depends. I might get...
To me, this
through
is a cold open. You just sat down and started going.
I suppose
So,
so. But also,
yeah.
you know, it's kind of the start. You know. Hi, Internet. We're back.
Yeah, it is still January. Barely. And it's,
Barely.
it's a whole
It's
new
not
year.
even halfway through the fucking month.
Yeah, but look, by the time this drops, like you get around to editing it, it'll be February.
Yeah, I
something.
got a pretty busy
schedule. I'm sure.
weekend this week.
Weekend this fortnight. It'll
Oh,
end
well,
up being-
okay, so I got a wrestling show on Friday.
Nice.
So basically, once I leave my house on the morning on Friday to go to work, I will not be returning till Saturday. Saturday morning, I should say, like in the day. Saturday.
It's just the first event you've been to for a while since...
Well, we'll get to that. And then on Saturday night, I am trying to meet up with with my crew because I've still, we haven't seen each other since fucking ages because of
As
everything.
in, like, friends and stuff.
Yeah.
Must be nice having those.
And then on Sunday, I'm going ice skating with this chick. And then, so...
Quarry?
No, Penrith, I believe. Yeah. So she's like, whoever falls first has to do something for the winner. Winner gets to decide, blah, 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 blah. And I've immediately gone, yeah, sure, right, whatever. And she goes, all right, and by the way, I've never lost. And I'm like, see, I knew you were fucking hustling me. But I'm like, yeah, well, you know, it's going to happen immediately. But like, not if I trip you over in like the second we get in, I just push.
No one lays down the gauntlet like that without, some kind of trick up their
Yeah,
sleeve.
and so I keep telling her, I'm terrible. I'm hustling her.
You're hustling the hustler.
Yeah.
So what, you used to play ice hockey or something?
Well, funny enough that you mentioned that. This semester, I'm going to be looking at university to basically, I'll be applying for funding to actually start a Western Sydney University ice hockey team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, full circle a little
Did
bit
you
there.
grow up out here as well? Or
Yeah, but I've always...
How did you end up doing ice hockey ever?
Well, I've done straight up normal hockey, and I can skate pretty well, so...
Of course you can.
At the both.
All right.
Yeah. And then following weekend, I have a mate's 28th. But I'll get this done at some point because I suppose the reason why we've been gone is not his fault, actually.
You make that sound like it's unusual.
I'm going to go with that because a lot of the...
Never my fault.
Listen.
Okay.
It went from I'll be home at 4 to...
Talking about the day of, not the week leading up to
Always
this.
something seems to happen. If he had pushed it, if he had said 8 o'clock, I would have said no.
Yeah, well, that's why I was hesitant. But to be fair, yesterday I did the same job and got back by 4. Today just was one of those. Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, I had COVID.
There's not many excuses given the history that would fly for me. But I suppose, you literally had, was it Delta? How do you even find out? How does that work? Do they ring you every day?
So I don't really know. I just know what the statistics are. Right. So when I spoke to the doctor who basically told me, yeah, you got COVID, he said, I go, do you know which one it is? And they go, no, we don't know which one it is. However, 60%, we don't know which specific one, right? Someone does, we don't. But 60% of the new cases that we were getting were Omicron. So I got to assume it was that. I beat its ass pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's a fourth wave. It's not as debilitating, but it's definitely more contagious than Delta.
Boy, you are breathing into that microphone.
How do you know you don't have headphones on?
It's. How do you know?
There's got to be that was okay. That was a sigh. But there's got to be some sort of editing fix we can do for that.
I mean, trust me, I edited down enough as it is.
So I recently downloaded a snore app, and that's a rude awakening when you listen to that in the morning.
Yeah,
it's
I
like
don't
5
snore.
hours of. Okay.
Yeah, because again, my watch and my phone listen to me and they track my sleep, and they're like, "Yeah, you don't snore."
Wow. Okay. Is that one of those health
Yeah,
Fitbit type things?
it's a Galaxy Watch 4. It's the newest one.
All right. I thought you had an S21 as well.
I have an S20 Ultra.
Right.
Same phone you have.
So what's this Galaxy thing you mean?
The watch.
Oh, okay, the watch. All right, cool. Does that do the body fat percentage as well?
Yes.
So I just spent $130 on
Scan.
it's a scale because I nearly bought the watch, and then the chick at JB was like, hang on, if you don't really need the watch, you can just get this scale that's on sale. And I found out later on that you can buy them for $30 at Kmart. Not the same scale, but they do the same thing, and they seem just as effective.
I told you, as a former
measurements.
JB Hi-Fi employee, anyone who works in JB Hi-Fi, in sales specifically, even not in sales, if you're on the floor, if you're not in the back, you learn to not have a soul. I have sold so many things to people that they did not want. To the one that I know was, again, I know this is the worst one I did. Indian couple comes in, and they go, "We want to buy an Xbox."
Right.
I go, "Cool. What do you need? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, nothing too violent, kids, blah, 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 blah." And I go, cool, cool, cool. So here's the Gears of War bundle. And about $1,000 worth of extras. Don't have a soul.
But you didn't even get a commission.
No, again, didn't have a soul.
Speaking of JB, yeah, I've just been following this TikToker that only got fired a few weeks ago from JB for apparently sexually harassing a male employee, but really it was him, and he got fired as well, and it's this whole drama, but I don't know why I brought that up.
Sexual harassment at JB Hi-Fi with everyone who works there is either a DJ or in a band?
She's a young...
No!
Yeah, and she's that classic goth with all the piercings and...
No! Yeah. JB Hi-Fi is Australia's hot topic? No!
I guess so. What do they sell anyway? Like t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like a weird version of Zing. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I've definitely heard that.
But yeah, COVID. I'm still immune apparently for at least another 7 days. I got it on the 17th.
Right.
I got it from going to I didn't get it at my Christmas party. I know that because I basically on the 17th of December I drank for about 12 to 15 hours straight. It was a good time. It was a good time. Christmas party.
Luna Park.
At Luna Park. All I can drink, all I can eat, every ride that I wanted to go on, and then followed up by going to an emo night with a few friends, which I continued to drink until at one point somebody tried to spike my drink. Again, I got hit on a lot that night. I turned a lot of people down, but then there was at one point where
by men, right?
2 men, 6 women. Okay. Yeah, the ratios change. Okay, mate. Yeah. Okay. All right, whatever. Someone's a little jealous. Yeah, okay, I have witnesses. Anyway, at one point I just went, this is immediately gone wrong. There is something wrong with this drink because I immediately walked away and threw up, and then I got another drink and I went, this one's fine.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever been spiked, but yeah, it definitely happens. And it could have been meant for the girl next to you or whatever, but yeah, it's good that you picked it up.
Yeah, all I know, because there was definitely other cases of people there was 4 chicks got spiked. As I was leaving, I see someone on the stairs just laying down, and I'm like, oh, you're fucked.
She maybe just drank too much, or how do you know when they're spiked or when they've just had 20 ciders?
Well, because then there were reports of people being spiked, and like the fucking management was reaching out to people. I'm like, hey, did anyone see anything? Blah 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 blah. And you gotta, two and two together.
Yeah. It definitely pays to go out with a mate. Like, never just go out by yourself, and always have someone as like not a chaperone, but like someone.
Well, last time before that, I went out drinking with like Connie and all them. Right, and this was after Oz Comic Con because I didn't go. We can cover that. Did you go?
Yes.
Yeah, we can cover that. And they fucked off at like 10 o'clock. And I'm like, I didn't just spend a fucking hour and a half on a bus because fucking trains were out because of track work to then spend an hour and a half after drinking for fucking 2 hours. So I went to my bar by myself, then proceeded to get attempted. Then a 38-year-old Irish woman attempted to pick me up.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't remember what her name is. It's somewhere in there, one of my
Why
conversations.
do you make that sound old?
24.
Yeah, that's probably about, when I was in Holland and I was a student and I was like, 21, 22. Yeah, some girl in a bar picked me up and she must have been nearly 40. I was just like, score. But okay.
Yeah.
Got the, different standards. That's fine. She did rake the shit out of my back though. It was just nails for days.
I'm very glad you just didn't stop that as she did rape.
No, rake.
Oh, rake. I heard rape and I was a bit concerned.
Yeah. No, that was the first time someone had made me bleed. And thankfully it was just from my back, not anywhere else. But yeah.
Well, the thing is this way. Like the general saying goes is it's half your age plus 7 is the youngest that you can go after without it seeming creepy. 38, half of that plus 7 is 26. 24.
Okay, sure. If you need someone else to define your
either way, I wasn't going there. I wasn't going to Coogee Beach. I had
sure. Yeah. But at least you had a bit of fun before COVID.
Yeah. And now I'm using my immunity while I can.
Yeah, well, I mean, it does bounce. It just doesn't last as long as the vaccine proteins, apparently, or whatever they're called.
I mean, I've had both
antibodies.
Shots.
Yeah. So you should be fine now. You quadruple soon. You got to get your booster.
Yeah.
I'll be picking that up next month, I think. It's 4 months now that you can get it within. Someone said 3. I don't know. It's hard to keep up. They keep changing the rules. We used to have to go every week to get a test. Now, obviously, that's out the window. Because
now it's just like, here's a rapid.
Yeah, but
it might be right.
We're getting them. I had one this morning. I was fine. They're a bit hard to get hold of. So thanks, ScoMo. Anyway, so we've had quite a year, 2021. Now we're moving into 2022 real quick.
And Betty White died.
Betty White, Bob Saget. They're sort of the real big names. Well, Danny Tanner. You didn't grow up with him as your TV dad. And a more wholesome one than the Aussie version, which probably would have been the guy from Hey Dad. That didn't work out too well.
I say, wasn't he like a pedophile?
Yep. That's how that went. But thankfully, Bob Saget, the worst he can be accused of is some very twisted, dark humor when he went on to stand-up circuit. His jokes were nothing like, because obviously his character is very wholesome and his real personality is absolutely nothing like that.
So what, like levels of like Kramer?
No, not just being like, the N-word. It was like just really dark, twisted jokes and, I don't know about racial stuff. Like I can't think of any right now, but if you watch Californication.
Oh, I love that show.
Yeah, he's in that. And that's apparently somewhat closer to his real personality. Like he's just a poon hound and a total. So like he did do a lot of drugs in the 80s and 90s along with John Stamos.
Like would you compare it to like Neil Patrick Harris's character in the Harold and Kumar series?
Probably something like that. They might have turned it up a bit for the show. But yeah, definitely nothing like the wholesome person he's portrayed to be in Full House. Though apparently he's a genuinely nice guy.
I mean, I've never seen that. Not once have I seen that.
Yeah, no, you're not missing anything. I'm not a fan of like that whole everything's anodyne and nothing could go wrong. I mean, they had dramas, but it was always just so saccharine and it just made me sick how like wholesome it was. So definitely more of a fan of like the Married with Children, which was like the opposite.
Did you miss me with every bullet so far? Now, see, I was I grew up watching Jewish. The Nanny.
Okay. Yeah. No, I wasn't a fan of her voice, but it had its moments.
It's a good show.
Oh, Fran Drescher.
Fran Drescher? Yeah. Fran Drescher. Okay, so, you know how I like to do fucked up questions. Came up with one today at work. and it's really bad. Would you rather your dick cure or cause cerebral palsy?
Well, I mean, it depends on how it's used to cure it.
By
Like-
sleeping with someone, you either cure them, or you can either cure
How
someone
many
with
pumps?
cerebral palsy.
Can it be like a one pump chump?
No. It's like it is a completion.
Right.
So you can either cure people with cerebral palsy, or you can give cerebral palsy to other people. It's not both; it's one or the other.
But is it by choice or is it just anyone you sleep with?
Anyone you sleep with.
Obviously, you'd go for cure, and then you just wouldn't tell anyone.
So then you're gonna sleep with people who've got cerebral palsy, or like
You just don't mention it.
So you're not gonna be a superhero then.
I mean, is that what Steady Eddie had?
I don't know who Steady Eddie is.
Oh, you're so young. Okay. Yeah, he's more of a 90s like figure. Okay.
Like, think of it this way, right? Like, if you can give people cerebral palsy, you're gonna ruin a woman for like everybody else.
Yeah, but you're saying you can choose who to cure.
No. Well, like, if you, again, whoever you sleep with, if they happen to have cerebral palsy, you'll cure it.
And if they don't, then it doesn't make any difference. So obviously, everyone's going to go with cure, and unless they're real like psychopaths, which I'm sure you know some. But yeah, no, I'd go with cure, and then just, if it comes up, it comes up. But I don't. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, but you get that dangerous thing where like there's a really hot chick, but she's got palsy, and you're like, I could fix this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, then you would go for it. But yeah,
and then
I don't know,
eventually
the premise is-
it all connects to you, and be like, and then you suddenly have 9-year-olds and fucking crutches. Mr. Hamilton, can you cure my palsy? But they don't know how you do it. So you're like, maybe when you're older, if you make it.
Wait, does it kill people?
Cerebral
They
palsy.
I thought they just had the walk and everything.
No, but I think it kills them. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. That would be a scary situation.
Should maybe do some
Take
more
off your pants and
research
cough.
before we
I came here for a headache. Take off your pants and cough.
maybe look up your hypothetical illness more before you trot it out.
All right, well, should we actually get started?
Yeah, welcome to Banana Split. This episode, who the fuck knows?
I think it is 88, yeah.
Sounds good to me. So
Must be
it is mid-January, as we mentioned. We're going to talk about some movies, talk about some news, if you're still here, and, just generally shoot the shit. I've already had my tea, because it's getting into the evening, which consisted of 2 chump bars and a can of Monster.
And I have a large fried rice waiting for me at Ryan.
Well, that actually sounds pretty good. Recommend the Penang if you're ever in Blacktown at the Thai restaurant, top of West Point. Good shit. That's all I'll say. That's my food review. In terms of news, should move into that. There is news. The normal stuff that I put in here.
Well, I can start with this because I also know the update for it. Vin Diesel has sent out a tweet basically begging Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to return for the Fast and Furious finales, I suppose.
I remember this. Yes, that was a very embarrassing thing to do because
it's like Paul, my Uncle Dwayne, and essentially Dwayne followed that up with "fuck you."
Yeah, it's pretty cringy because, I mean, I do like Vin Diesel. I've enjoyed most of his projects, especially that one where he played like the weird space superhero. That was his like pet project.
Oh, Chronicles of Riddick?
Yeah, and the only reason he went back to like Fast and Furious after Tokyo Drift
The money?
was the money, so he could make another Chronicles of Riddick movie. Which they've never done that well, but they're a bit of fun. They're cult classics, and he's like an action hero. He's buff, but he's also a nerd. He plays Dungeons and Dragons, so I always had a soft spot for him.
He's like a lesser version of Henry Cavill.
Yeah, he's like the original Henry Cavill, but slightly less good looking. But
you know what the best Vin Diesel movie is? The Pacifier.
Oh god, that's one I've avoided somehow. This is one thing I've never been able to get to the bottom of, and I've read a couple of articles, but no one's ever been able to say exactly what it was that started the rift. And the vibe that I get is that he was condescending and basically a dick to The Rock and coming off as this big brother role, and I had to ride him a little bit, just to, he was a wrestler before, he'd never acted. So, he had to come in and I showed him the ropes. He had this whole sort of patronizing vibe.
Yeah.
And I don't think The Rock... Either way,
I think it's one of those situations where you've got, because The Rock is significantly more famous than Vin Diesel.
And he had acted before he turned up in the Fast and Furious movies, so I don't know what he's talking about. Like he just stepped out of the ring. But
again, I think it's an alpha male ego thing with like, because Vin Diesel was the head honcho, and then you've got The Rock who's playing a side character but who's going to be insanely popular.
he's a lot shorter than The Rock, but he made sure that they were never in the same scene, or if he was, he stood on a box or something. So it's all very
man. Like
immature.
if I would rather try to get my co-star to kneel than stand on a box. That I feel like standing on a box would be more humiliating.
Yeah. But good luck getting The Rock to do that for you. It's a bit disappointing, because I had enjoyed the Diesel to a degree.
Oh, the Diesel, the Diggs.
Yeah, old Vinny. But yeah, so that's sad to hear that, because I understand why The Rock wouldn't come back, but I enjoy a world staying, or an entertainment project or whatever you call it, like a franchise. I prefer it to
maintain a cast of characters.
Yeah, be consistent and be like, okay, this is the world they're in, and in this world it makes sense for this to happen and that to happen. There's not much you can do, obviously, when one of your main characters dies. There is like a brief cameo at the end of the last film, because I finally saw it when it dropped on Amazon, and he pulls up in his car. You don't really see him as such, but it's like, hey, he's back from babysitting duties, which is a bit of a stretch.
But that's the thing, they didn't just lose The Rock, because you couldn't exactly just do the one with just The Rock. They brought in Statham. Like, they took Statham out of the main series as well.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't said anything about whether he'd return. They used his character's mother in the recent film.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it became too much of a... Was it Justin Lin directing again?
I believe so.
Right. And it was a lot of fun. I had a good time. I mean, he did Tokyo Drift, and then he came back to do a couple more, and they were always the most popular films when he was involved, other than the first one, obviously. That was the big one. Though they probably made more money since then. It's just the first one's got like the Matrix in terms of cachet. How do you say that? Like,
speaking of the Matrix.
Yeah. I mean, I still wanted to do my Fast and Furious
review. Okay, continue, but man, that would have been such a good segue. It was a perfect segue.
Yeah,
you ruined it. You took it away from me.
It's like the original Point Break. Nothing's ever going to be as good.
It's like Speed 2.
Which also had Keanu Reeves. The Speed. None of the sequels touched it, and I think you're going to always have that problem with Fast and Furious. You just can't top the original. It's still been a fun ride, no pun intended, to watch it carry on. But I think they've really, and it's not a hot take. I mean, I'm not saying anything.
The horse has been dead for 2 movies.
Yeah, this is like everyone's saying it, and I was coming in with an open mind and being a bit more, no, come on.
It should have wrapped on Paul Walker's death.
That would have been perfect to go out on number 7, where they drove away from each other. I can't see it. I really don't think it needed to, and I'm all about flogging a dead horse. But they really didn't need to do any more.
That could be seen as a masturbation joke.
Yeah. And I think they are doing 2 more.
Yeah.
But, there's not going to be any more Rock. They'll probably get Statham at some point. The whole thing with his brother being John Cena and no one really making anything out of that other than I think it was the Charlize Theron melting
Charlize, I believe. The hacker bitch.
The hacker bitch. Who suddenly, like, halfway through the movie was
like,
now I'm in charge.
I'm not saying she's a bitch because she's a woman. I'm saying she's a bitch because she's the bad guy.
Yeah, she's a bitchy character, sure. It's not just like, yo, those bitches over there. But she basically took over as she was, for some reason, captured by the bad guys. And then she just decided to be like, look, you guys are shit. You're a puppet. I'm going to be in charge now. It didn't seem to take any real leverage. She was just like, through sheer force of will, like, I'm going to be the bad guy suddenly. So I didn't really understand that. And then suddenly John Cena was like, doing the obvious turn from villain to
family.
Family. And it was just so, everything was telegraphed hugely. The only bits I enjoyed were when it was like, was it Ja Rule or what's his name?
I think it was Ja Rule from Tokyo, right?
The 2 guys that go into space.
Okay. You mean...
There's Tyson Fury, is it? Or am I thinking of a wrestler? I'm thinking of
Tyson Fury is a
UFC
boxer.
Fighter.
He is a boxer. He is the king of the gypsies.
Yeah. No, okay. But who's the... Roman.
No, you're gonna figure this out. We're gonna wait here.
No, we'll be here all night.
You were gonna wait here.
But isn't the character's name Tyrese? Not Tyro. His name's Tyrese, right? The character? Tyrese Gibson or something like that? Anyway. Or the actor's name and then the character's name's Roman. I should really look this up before I talk about it. But anyway, that guy, you know who I'm talking
I
about.
know who you're talking about, but who's the
Yeah.
other one?
The shorter one. He always makes fun of Roman's forehead. And I think that's like Ja Rule or some kind of rapper.
Ja Rule.
Ja Rule. Isn't he a
not.
rapper?
It's not. You're correct. It is a musical artist.
Ludacris.
There we go.
Yeah, because his songs are in the first movie. And that's one of those trivia things. It's like, then he's in the movie, so who's the rapper? Yeah, because it's not like a soundtrack thing.
Again,
they're listening to it at a party, it's part of the movie.
It's the same logic of
I know.
Peter Parker watching Star Wars.
Yeah. And then you've got Samuel L. Jackson, you've got Natalie Portman, you've got all those characters that are like, hang on. So who's
Wait a minute.
in that alternate universe? Because they're obviously Earth Prime and our
616.
Earth, 616 or whatever, and then our Earth is like a whole nother Earth that exists in that multiple reality thing. But then we're going into Spider-Man, so let's just leave that.
Don't
So
get me
in their
started on the
world,
lazy writing.
obviously, those characters are played by some other actor. It's just never mentioned or shown.
Now,
so logic works. But yeah, what I was saying is those two were in space in a Pontiac Fiero wearing deep sea diving suits. And we're just like, yep, we can drive into a satellite and then float around until we find another space station.
Well, no, they were believing they would die.
Yeah. Because that would be realistic. But no, they were fine. And one thing I didn't mind was that Roman was kind of, there was 2 or 3 instances
Where he was like,
I should be dead.
I think I'm immortal.
Yeah, he's basically like, we've got some kind of superpower.
It was a very good meta joke, I think.
Yeah. So I like that they did nod to the fact that it's ridiculous. Like the whole
I
Vin
do
Diesel
like the fact
superpower.
how many people made jokes about them going into space before this movie came out.
Oh, like what are they going to do
like
next?
the internet, go into space.
Yeah, and then they fucking did. So I don't know how they're going to top that in the next 2 films. Like, how do you
they're
raise
going
the
to join the
stakes?
MCU.
Yeah, they're going to like discover some kind of. Well, everyone's doing these multiple dimension things now. Like Flashpoint's doing it with the new Flash movie.
They're gonna drive by fucking Thanos.
Yeah, something. I don't know.
It's actually how the movie ends. They all get snapped.
Go back to basics. There was a moment where they went back to basics in a flashback because it was like, hey, this is them when they were kids. even though
4
there
was
nothing like them.
kind of.
And I like how the young Vin Diesel was like 6'6" or something. Like he was clearly a foot or 2 taller than Vin Diesel. But you know, hey, I hate that. I think it's something as I get older, I'm expecting more and more nods to realism, or at least attempts at like.
How did this go from us talking about the feud to reviewing Fast and Furious?
Right? Yeah, I know, because I watched it and I was like, hey, now I can finally talk about it, and it was a mess, and some of it was okay, but
it was a Fast and Furious mess.
Yeah, I know, but I just think it's interesting that it's getting harder for me to ignore the ridiculousness of the physics and the.
At this point, there's more Fast and Furiouses than there are. What's it called? What's the Police Academy, correct?
I just find it interesting where I'll let a movie get away with a serious amount of bullshit. Pretty much any Marvel movie with people going to space and all the sort of ridiculous things that characters do in real life, like in the way the police react or the way society sort of just lets the fact that for 5 years half the population was missing and then suddenly returned, and it's not really. People would be losing their minds. I don't know. They just sort of seem to gloss over a lot of stuff. But with Fast and Furious, for some reason, it's not getting a pass like it used to for me. And I think they just... Is it because they keep pushing it further and further? Or is it because the characters are less compelling now? Without Paul Walker, who weirdly brought a sense of... Not gravitas, but like... There was something charming about him. There was something like, hey, I want this guy to win.
He was a family man.
Yeah. I don't know. And there's still some charm to the films. Don't get me wrong. Some of the characters just shine through. And bringing Gal Gadot back, wasn't there a brief cameo?
No, they brought back the Asian guy.
Yeah, Han, obviously, yeah. But
there was
in a big way. I think Gal was in it for like 2 seconds.
No?
At least like a...
Nope, nothing. Maybe a flashback, but...
Yeah, I think there was like a cutscene of like her before.
A cutscene?
You know,
this isn't a video game.
You know what I mean? Like a really short flashback. Yeah, something like that. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's right. She was in it. And it just... That was a good one. When they went to South America, I got to meet... Even though they should have stopped before that. Because was Paul Walker in that where they had the giant safe?
Yes.
That was 6. I do. There is a lot of them. It is easy to get them mixed up. But the one with the submarine, and Roman even joked about that. Like, I'm not even going to mention the submarine that he survived somehow. I don't know. They're going to have to do something really interesting with the next one to pull me back in, at least in terms of the amount of respect I have for it. But not that they care. Who cares? They're making $20 billion every time, so whatever. Anyway, so I'll give it, like, if we're giving scores, maybe 10. I'll give it probably 6.
It's been that long.
Yeah, no one cares.
Yeah, I honestly, you know how I like to argue about things that are irrelevant?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is one of those things. Considering it came out in when?
It was like August or something. I don't know. It was 2021, but it was made like 2 years ago. That they kept delaying it and delaying it and delaying it.
June.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. My bad.
The most irrelevant thing to start with.
Had to get out of the way. Had to just slide it in there and then.
All right, moving on.
Stage. Yes, to Matrix.
I mean, no, there's more things on the things. I haven't seen Eternals. We can't cover that. I was
I've
going to watch
seen
it today.
How have you not seen it?
Because in the span of the MCU, this movie does not look like it's in the MCU.
Sure. I mean,
I was literally going to watch it today, so you can't do it because I'm going to watch it tomorrow.
So it's going to be forever. Okay. I mean, if we're doing reviews from June, then I guess we can wait for that.
Yeah. But you did in order of things that you've shared to the group. Arcane.
All right. That was something I'd forgotten about, and I like it.
I have seen 1.5 episodes.
Jesus Christ.
Listen, I started watching it like 3 days ago, and here's the one thing I will say. It is very pretty.
It's a beautiful cartoon. There's beautiful writing, beautiful characters. I've never played League of Legends.
It feels wrong to call it a cartoon, to be honest.
I get it. But it's not really anime either, because, I mean, it was made like in America or something.
I would rather call it a graphic film.
Okay, it sounds a bit pretentious, but sure.
It's pretty enough to get it.
If you say so.
Yes, also don't ever play League of Legends.
To me, like, saying cartoon isn't an insult. It's just something that describes, it's a broad umbrella term for anything that's animated.
What I do like, and I remember out of just the first episode, is when, I don't remember the bloke's name. Again, haven't watched it enough. But he calls Powder, who I know becomes Jinx. He goes, "You're just a Jinx to everything." And I just go, "Oh, he said it! He said it!"
So, there's a few cliches and tropes, like the twisted brother figure that ends up getting revenge. He totally misapprehends his position. Like, he's like, everyone hates me because of this. Like, it's all about like the old cliches of characters being at odds for reasons that really shouldn't exist. The world that they've set up, like, it's a weird cyberpunk / steampunk environment. Like, when you're going down into this subterranean world of people that live on a different plane of existence to the top half of the world. It kind of reminds me of Battle Angel Alita in that way. Like, there's these two different societies.
Never seen it.
Okay. Brilliant film. And
seen stuff from it, haven't seen it.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff.
The animation of her bugged the shit out of me because everyone else was a person, but she was animated, and I'm like, no. But it like wasn't full.
But she's a robot, so.
Yeah, but it's fucking weird. It just bugs me. Bugs my OCD. Do all or do nothing?
There was a bit of uncanny valley there, but yeah. Anyway, getting off topic. I'm just
getting off topic on this podcast.
I know. I did finish Arcane and recommend it. That's all.
I've started. Speaking of going back to my university thing, one of my electives. Again, my major in advertising. I got to do media law and ethics this semester, and I had to choose a elective, and I've got two choices really. I'm either going to do Japanese 101. Or there is literally a class again. Like, you want a good gimme class, right? You want a good class that I can smash this out. I don't have to worry about this really. Podcasting.
Just phone that one in.
There was literally a podcasting class, and I'm like, this one.
Yeah, no, you better have taken that one. I'd be pretty pissed if you didn't take that.
I took it. I'm taking it.
Who knows? It could actually bring something to the table in terms of improving this.
I like the idea if I walk in and the first thing is relevancy.
Depends on what you define as relevant. I think it could mean if it's relevant to the people listening, if it's interesting, it's just another word for that. But if you're talking about, did it happen last week or 2 years ago, then it's not as interesting to me. I don't think it matters how new it is.
I get your point. I definitely get your point. What I think we should also be doing is one of us at least should have been doing what every other page was fucking doing, and was reporting on things that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire said after they said, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're in Spider-Man." Like every other page was talking about how like the one interview of Andrew Garfield was like, "Well, me and Toby actually snuck into a theater like just together to watch it for the first time, and like and everyone's talking about this, and there's photos everywhere, blah 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 blah."
Oh, it's weird. I watch a lot of Spider-Man
content.
Yeah, no, I do hoover up anything Spider-Man related. I haven't come across that exact quote, but I've been watching a lot of like audience reactions, and it's very similar to the Captain America picking up the hammer type thing where the crowd goes nuts. Mjolnir. No one gets that right.
Mjolnir.
The other stuff is like, how many times Andrew Garfield I'm never going to trust him again in an interview, but fair enough. I understand why he had to do it.
Continue.
Yeah, Spider-Man. So, like, since it came out, all the talk I've seen has been more about what he's going to do next, when they're going to bring in a Miles Morales character, whether he'll be in the same universe, the audience reactions, how much money it's made, whether bloody Tom Holland's going to retire, as he's making noises about wanting to have a break. And it's like, come on, man. You're like, how old is he now? 15? Just keep going for another 10 years.
I'll cover. I'm keeping all this in. I think it's funny. So yeah, he was saying Andrew Garfield. No, you were saying Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Okay, you do this. You were clearly on track somewhere with this.
Just saying, all I've heard since the movie's release is about the crowd reactions, about whether Tom Holland's going to stick around, about when they're going to do a Miles Morales. I think it's already passed Titanic as like the highest grossing film in the top 10, but I think it still hasn't beaten Endgame. I have to check the all-time.
I mean, I suppose the question now is,
but it made a fuck ton of money. Let's just put it that way. That's all that matters.
Again, I am talking into the microphone. They can't hear me.
Right.
So you should pay attention when I am actually talking.
Okay.
Is Andrew Garfield going to be coming back for an additional Spider-Man? Is he going to be part of the Venomverse, I suppose? But most importantly, I need within Mobius. I love when I am talking on this. I'm going to put like a photo of me. Jaden is off screen. In Mobius, I need the Vulture to say to Jared Leto, "What are you, some kind of Batman?" And to follow him by to go, "What are you, some kind of Birdman? Or what do you what do you think you are, some kind of Joker?" Something like
Have they referenced Batman in the MCU?
Don't think so.
I seem to remember them doing it at one point. Anyway, so they referenced Superman, but it was in the Eternals. Spoilers. Though I have heard that talk, but I never took it seriously because no, they're not going to have two Spider-Men running around. That's nuts. They're going to have them in the same film, but they're not going to have two different. That's just confusing.
Well, I don't know because they got the Oscorp building in the Mobius trailer.
Garfield said he'd be happy to come back. I'm not going to take anything he says seriously anymore, but obviously he's open to it. But I don't know. I know Sony has got their own thing and they could do it, but I think it would piss off Marvel too much if you confuse the base. The viewers are okay with like one a movie with the three of them in it, but to split it up like that, I don't know. I can't see it. I find it highly unlikely, but who knows? If they brought them back together again, that could maybe happen because the chemistry was so good.
Well, first of all, great success. Scooch a bit. And secondly, I am seeing reports though that allegedly Marvel are potentially wanting Toby and Andrew to return for an Avengers film. This is what I know.
What?
It's one of the Secret Wars, I believe.
Okay.
I am gonna research this because this is something I actually care about. So if I'm wrong, you'll see it here. And I also zoom in on Pat saying something that I said that he said, but he's like, I didn't say that.
Yeah, and then you like replayed it or something.
3 times.
You bastard. The point was that I was correct in my intentions, like in my.
You were right, but you were wrong.
I forget now. It was something to do with Transformers and the Matrix. But
yes, it was reusing shots. Anyway, Oz Comic Con. So in other words, the reason why we're at 30,000 cases on a daily basis average.
What, because of that one convention?
I believe so. I believe that is the key thing that set it off.
I mean, it was one of the first big events that, as far as we knew, I don't think outside of our little nerd culture world that many other people knew about it. But, there was a smattering of guests, a couple of thousand over the weekend. Yep. I only went on the one day.
And then they spread
it. Smaller than a usual. Yeah, but I don't know. I think there was a lot of stuff happening. There was sports was happening again. People going out for Christmas parties. There's all kinds of stuff.
Who goes out for a Christmas party?
Obviously ridiculous to put the blame. I just blame ScoMo for the entire thing. So, and like the New South Wales state government obviously has a lot to answer for as well. If we focus on the event itself and whether it was successful, I think it was. I haven't talked to the organisers. I don't know how much money they made. I think it was important for them, regardless of profit, to keep the event in people's minds and cosplayers and everyone else that is likely to go, hey, this still exists. We are trying this thing.
It's funny you say that, but when's the last time you wrote a post for Beyond Cosplay?
Like related to
anything?
Well, I do share memes and stuff. I've shared.
I said a post, not a Facebook post. I said for Beyond Cosplay, not the page. For Beyond Cosplay.
Oh, you mean the website?
I mean the website.
God. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Remember when I wrote one that it just didn't go anywhere? I sent it to him. Didn't show up ever.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that later. I don't remember anything about that. I think I must have put it on the website.
Funny enough, it was actually for the years prior Oz Comic Con.
Yeah, I think it was just too late by then. I must have put it on there.
I'll go there right now.
Yeah, does it even exist?
Prove. Okay, so there's Supernova Sydney. And then PAX 2019.
Yeah. I'll have to look into that.
Well, it's too late now. It's relevant.
Yeah. That was for a 2020 thing, though, right?
Fucking distinction on that fucking thing, too.
Yeah. I remember working on that, though. Doing something with it. Going through it. Anyway, I'll have a look. I don't know.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah, whatever. Just you brought it up. So
it's called I'm Petty.
Okay.
Just like Netflix is, apparently, for cancelling Cowboy Bebop after one season. Look at that fucking segue.
Right. Well played. Yeah. No, I still haven't finished that series. It's in my list. I wasn't enjoying it as much as I expected because I remember loving the anime. It's still fun. I remember reading about the main character. God, I always forget his name. And it's such an easy name. The guy who plays Spike, he was from Harold and Kumar. And
what, John Cho?
John Cho.
You were talking about the actor. I could have told you that fucking 20 seconds ago.
Why didn't you? I was talking about the actor.
You said character. What the guy's name? And I'm like,
oh, no.
Cowboy Bebop?
I meant the actor. Yeah, no, he broke his leg. So it got delayed for like 6 months and then they had COVID. So it was a whole mess. But I don't think that's why it wasn't successful. I think it was just off it goes. That's fine.
I'm watching it move.
Wow. Good eyes. Obviously going to have to work on that in the off season, in the 6 months it takes him to come back. Yeah, no, so that was disappointing. And I'm not really surprised that they cancelled it, given all the negative reviews that came out. That's a pity, because I love anything to do with bounty hunting, spacefaring pirates. Like, the acting was great. I just think it tried to copy a lot of people say it wasn't close enough to the original, but they really did try and capture the spirit of the original cartoon. And I don't think they needed to do that. I think they could have gone their own way a bit more in what would have worked better for a TV series, for something that's live action. Maybe if they were given another season or two, they would have found their feet, but we'll never know. So that's a pity. I do love John Cho, so hopefully we'll see him again soon. And all the other actors are great. Do you have anything else to add about Cowboy, other than the fact that
I never watched it?
Okay. There is talk of a Fallout TV series. I think I brought this up years ago, but there's a bit more information. It's beginning production this year. Jonathan Nolan is directing. What?
If it doesn't hold, I give up on this one.
Yeah, fair enough. That's fine. You've done your best. So, yeah.
It's all staying in.
Just pretty excited about that. That's the one next big thing on the horizon, because I know Expanse, it's probably on its last season. So, in terms of a franchise that I'm hyped about, Fallout could be interesting. And I like Jonathan Nolan. I like what Prime allows them to do, other than the evil overlord that owns the company. Some of the stuff they put out is pretty good. So at least he gives us that, maybe, even though his employees qualify for food stamps while he flies to space in like penis-shaped rockets. At least we get a little bit of bread and circus, to distract us. So there's that.
So we've had the Harry Potter reunion now air, and to no one's surprise, J.K. Rowling wasn't really in it. Any sort of footage used of the author had basically a disclaimer in the shot, basically saying this was filmed back in 2019.
And it stayed on the entire shot, and apparently she was mentioned 10 times. and that was it. Yeah, well, it was weird. Like there was a lot of other stuff that was shot in 2019, but none of that had the same disclaimer. So a bit of a weird one. That like they're really worried about the backlash from the woke crowd. These liberal cucks.
I don't know
where I'm going with that.
Yeah, man's trying to get me cancelled before.
Yeah. I'm not going to say I'm on the fence, but I guess I'm not as outraged. I mean, I never read the books. I didn't watch all the films. She sounds problematic for sure, but I guess it's hard to get as upset as other people are. Separate the artist from the work. The work's mostly okay, other than when she did those like bankers and made them look really Jewish. Other than that, it seems fairly cohesive.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Are you comparing goblins to Jewish people?
That's the inference that other people have made about what she did, not me. There's a whole bunch of YouTube clips out there showing like all the obvious references that she used.
I feel like it's one of those things where I want to play that game of, was the person offended Jewish?
Probably not. I don't know. Some of the criticisms seemed to have weight. Otherwise, yeah. Not a big deal.
I suppose I ask you the question: would you like the red pill or the blue pill?
Oh, smooth segue. I'd always take the red. I'm just one of those people that have to know. You know, like there's that scene even in the first film where they're betrayed by one of the characters. So it's been 20 years plus. It's not a spoiler.
Cypher.
Yeah, Cypher. And yeah, he can come back. A lot of characters came back, but not Cypher.
No, because he's dead.
There's that. But so were the two main characters, and they brought them back.
That's the whole plot. Is their revival.
Yeah. But the point is that anyone can be revived. They just chose not to. Because writing, Deus Ex Machina. No pun intended. So.
Isn't it Deus Ex
Machina? Yeah, that's right. I can't English.
Thank you.
Or Latin. But basically, Cypher is given a choice when he makes his betrayal. Do you want to go back and know what you did and live a happy life, or just go back and have zero memory but be completely blissful and just live in the Matrix as a happy camper? And he chose that. He chose to erase all those memories, and I don't think that's something I could ever do. So
now, what I will say is, first of all, I very much enjoyed the film.
Okay.
The some of the criticisms I saw of it were people like, oh, but they didn't really build many characters, this and that. They were just like pushing the whole agenda of like feminism and all this. And I'm like, well, no, because you had to nerf Neo to begin with. Because like if it was Neo, well then the game's over.
Yeah, if he was as powerful as he was before. I remember a really funny scene. I mean, talk about Fast and Furious, making some like in jokes or whatever, like fourth wall breaking references. The Matrix took that to a whole nother level.
The Matrix was so fucking meta. I loved it.
Yeah. I mean, it would have made Deadpool blush, basically. Massive spoilers here. It's been out for a while, so whatever, especially by the time this drops. It's the same with Spiderman. We're going to spoil the shit out of that. So, not that we haven't already, probably.
Yeah, we have.
But, I mean, everyone knew by this point that all the Spider-Men came back. Yeah. Some other stuff we've left out, like who dies, blah, blah, blah. Come on. Everyone knew someone was going to die.
Okay, can we get to the Matrix?
Yeah. Anyway, I was getting there. You've made it longer now. Ironically. But the Matrix, it was ridiculous. Like, he was now living back in the Matrix, but he was a video game designer who designed a game called The Matrix. And
basically, his the entire trilogy was the video game.
Yeah. Which was weird because they kept showing clips from the films, but going, this is from the video game. Like, I guess this video game had a shit ton of cutscenes. I don't remember them showing any gameplay. But okay.
I mean, you're going to be that on the nose about it. Then we can also put into the argument of look at the current Matrix Unreal Engine 5 gen on the PS5, where it just looks the exact fucking same.
See, they could have used some of that. That would have been cool. But yeah, no, I get it. It was only 2.5 hours long, so they couldn't put everything in.
I would have watched it for another 2.
Yeah, wow. You're a true fan.
I love The Matrix.
Yeah.
I will say this. I understand the lack of Hugo Weaving. However,
he was busy making an Australian comedy love story called
Jonathan Groff is a phenomenal Agent Smith.
Is he from that film you lent me called The Stranger or whatever it was?
The Guest? No.
The Guest.
No, he's
No?
not from The Guest. That would be Dan Stevens.
He has a similar
Jonathan
intensity.
Jonathan Groff played King George in Hamilton.
Okay. I'm sure I've seen him in something else, but he's good. And he was given the exact same lines that Hugo Weaving had, like that were written for Hugo Weaving because he was supposed to be in it, but couldn't because of a scheduling conflict. But basically, he pulled it off. I don't know. In that world, it makes sense. I mean, you're just a digital avatar anyway, so why not like freshen yourself up, make yourself look even more intimidating? Really went for it, and that worked for me. I just think that it was a bit of a mess otherwise. And that I don't know if it's got anything to do with only one of the creators being involved this time. I believe both the sisters lost their mother at some point. There was a recent death in the family, and one of them was like, this has inspired me to go back to the Matrix and do a whole I think
it was Lana who came back.
Yeah, I think it was, you're right. Yeah, it was Lana. And the other one was like, no, my mother's died. To me, that's just doubled me down on getting away from that.
That makes sense to me. Some people throw themselves into their work. So what I will say, what I was going off before with the criticisms of not building characters and all that, I want you to sort of have a look at this from the original Matrix standpoint. Again, it's an original film, so you're going to you got your few baseline characters, because I want you to think of it, out of the original Matrix, what characters sort of make it into the next film? You got Morpheus, Neo, Trinity, Agent Smith. That's and there's a few handfuls, the Oracle, that's about it. You sort of have the same area here, because what happens with a bunch of the main crew that is originally on the ship with Neo, who we see in the Matrix, they fucking die. So why bother?
I think that's even mentioned at one point, his entire crew were killed and then he died. But this guy was still like a huge fanboy anyway. I was like, anyway, let's go. The new crew were like, we love him anyway. He's a legend.
But these characters matter more because they're alive still.
Yeah, like Jada Pinkett Smith was back.
That's Niobe. She's old. So, and also, the whole thing of
pretty good aging makeup too.
The whole thing of Morpheus, first of all, being
an agent. I like that.
Yeah, as Smith. As Smith, he was, and he's not even an actual person. He is part of the Matrix. At this
It was
point.
a program that Neo wrote.
Yeah,
ironically,
Neo, I suppose,
so brought him out because there was something inside him manifesting. There's some part of him that knew something was wrong. Yeah, so sort of ironically, while
broke him out.
Yeah, he helped him get out of it.
Now, see, I also had, and I think this is very clever. So red pill, good. Blue pill, blue, which is why I was always suspicious of Neil Patrick Harris's character, the therapist who ends up becoming the architect, I believe.
Yeah.
No, not the architect. The analyst is the term they use for him, and hence why he's the true bad guy of the film, and he's always wearing those blue glasses until the reveal where he takes them off and never wears them again.
Oh, okay. The blue frames. I didn't even think of that. I just thought they looked cool. But obviously, the blue is a reference to him being like the ultimate
villain,
and like the ultimate sort of trickster,
the ultimate part of the system, being part of the system,
and like using the whole language of a therapist.
The cat being called Deja Vu.
Yeah, no, it was clever. I just think it might have been a little bit too clever. I'm not sure. It just didn't. The stakes felt weird because there was so many levels of fakeness. Like he's in this fake world, but then there's a fake world within a fake world, and then he goes to the real world, but he's died, and they somehow brought him back to life just using the machine. It was literally just they crashed, right, and it exploded. There wasn't much left, but there was a scene showing how the machines came down and sort of put them back together.
Okay, so first of all, Trinity was impaled during the crash,
right,
and she died there.
She got washed.
Neo made it to the end. Neo died in a completely different section of the machine.
Yeah, I remember him lying down, and there was like a scene where he put his arms out, and it was like a kind of a Jesus moment.
Yeah, and they took him away.
Okay, I don't know. It felt hard for me to really get emotionally involved, I guess. And in the original, it felt more. I mean, I was younger, and I did try and watch it again on the day that I was going to see the new film, and it was interesting having just watched it to go in and see the new movie, how many scenes they did like shot for shot remakes of the first film, and I thought that was really cool. Like, oh, that's what she just. But now they're doing this. And,
yeah, it's like when you run into Trinity, but it's not Trinity. And
yeah, no, I thought that was really cool. So obviously a lot of fan service, and that's fine. It was harder to me to come back 20 years later and feel like it was as big an event, because when I was 19 or whatever, when it came out, I was just like, holy shit, this has broke down all the walls, and the doors of perception are just blown away, and like it was just this huge wake up moment. And now it feels less like they're even kind of talking about that in the film where they're trying to make a new video game. He's like, okay, so originally we had the bullet time, and that was the big thing where you could sort of spin around with the camera. We need a new version of that. And I feel like they didn't really come up with a new bullet time.
Well, that's the whole thing. That's because that was the whole like sort of focal point around the analyst and Neo and their relationship, being the fact that Neo's best power, the thing that made Neo, has been taken sort of away from. It's been used against him.
No, I guess I'm talking about more of a macro
thing,
level,
I suppose,
like something that pulls people in and goes, "Oh, this is like, I know it's gimmicky and it's sort of a hacky thing."
It kind of was. He had the new ability he sort of had. He sort of had like Jedi Force pushes, which he never had before.
Okay.
But then he lost his ability to fly. But then Trinity had it, and then also in the I suppose the ending, like after the ending, like basically once they come back, he can fly again.
Yeah. No, I guess pulling out to more of the film itself being a phenomenon, that helped it in 1999. I didn't see anything like that groundbreaking technology type gimmick coming out this time to really. It's like Avatar. When it came out, a lot of the success of that was based on the 3D technology.
Well, yeah,
it didn't happen this time?
Is that the fault of the creators, or is that we're just where we're
it's
at?
just.
What do you want? Fucking Keanu Reeves to just knock on your door and go, "Hey,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they could have gone, but I'm just saying that it was lacking something that the original movie had, and that was like a groundbreaking technological advance.
You can't blame the film for that. So.
Okay, I'm just saying it's something it didn't have this time, so it was never going to. And the first three were made all sort of pretty close to each other, like within 5 or 6 years, right? So that's fine. They could run, but waiting 20 years to come back, I know you're saying you can't blame the film, but it would have been nice for them to. It just would have been cool if they did something else. Like, that's something they did before. Let's see what they're going to do this time. Maybe I'm asking too much, but yeah.
You invented technology.
Yeah, sure. I'm not saying it's easy and anyone could do it. I'm just saying it would be interesting if every 20 years they could pop up with another Matrix and some like. That would be the delivery system for some kind of cool new cinema technology.
What if the entire concept of like the next Matrix is played exclusively in VR headsets?
Yeah, I'm down with that. Anything. Like, it wasn't even that groundbreaking. It was just a cool effect. It was like other films have done interesting shots and people have like remembered the film for a certain way, a stylistic part of it. Like, I'm not saying it.
Can you
the main thing that blew
example?
people's I was trying to think of like, well, I think Train Spotting did some cool stuff where that was the first use of the trope where someone's on drugs and the camera's suddenly on their face.
Okay.
And they're doing this, and then the whole like, oh god, there's so many like. Okay, I really should have sat down and if I was writing a review, that's something I would have done some research on, but it just sort of popped into my head. There was no sort of novel use of camera or cinema in this version.
Okay.
It was all like the writing, and that's fine. I'm just saying it would have been cool to have a new twist on.
So you're saying your nostalgia needs weren't fully met?
No, and that's okay. I'm just saying it would have been nice. It's also probably asking too much.
You know what it kind of feels like right now? It's like, no, I'm not mad. It's okay. It's fine.
It's fine.
I'm not mad.
We were in a hurry to leave because, babysitter. Yeah, I did look up what the after credit scene was, and it sounded interesting. Something to do with cats. You didn't watch it?
No, I did.
Okay.
I did.
Basically, it was the same group of developers sitting around trying to brainstorm ideas for the sequel to the game. So it's back within the Matrix, and they are talking about the same kind of problems we are. Because I'm sure the writers of the movie sat around, or at least Lana and
that's right,
had some people, and they're bouncing ideas, and like, how do they even address that? Like, we had the bullet time. So obviously what I'm talking about is something they talked about. But
Again, it's been meta.
yeah, and in the end, they came up with like, okay, we're just going to stimulate people's central nervous system with a constant feed of like cute cats, and we'll call it the Catrix, something like that, from what I've read. So yeah, it's clearly a lot more whimsical and able to poke fun at itself than the original. Because watching the first one on the same day, wow, it was po-faced, it was deadly serious. Yeah, I don't remember as much kind of like winks at the camera.
Yeah, there were a lot of winks.
Yeah, this time round. And that's fine. Everyone's grown up and they can't blow off your doors of perception this time again using, like, once that original idea is out, how do they top it? So they had to flesh it out with a bit more humor. That's fine. So that's I thought it was good. I'd give it a 7.9. It wasn't like, you just can't top the original, but I still think it was a worthy addition to the canon. So.
Yeah, I'd give it an 8.5. Considering that the original Matrix is in like my top 5 films of all time.
Yeah, no, I can see that. That's something that should be in anyone's, anyone that's like into genre cinema. It should be in a top 10 at least. So of sci-fi, there'd be that. There'd be Blade Runner. There'd be Aliens.
Yes, so my top 5 in no particular order is Inglourious Bastards, Alien.
I mean, are you just talking about war movies, or are you talking about like
my top 5
of all time of like any movies?
Any movie.
Okay.
Inglourious Bastards, Alien, The Matrix, American Psycho, and The Guest.
All right. Wow. Okay, that's different. I don't think anyone else would have that same list. So interesting. I think American Psycho is one of those ones that pops up in like people you shouldn't, like characters you should definitely not idolize, but way too many people idolize.
Yeah, I get that. I don't idolize it. I just think it's brilliantly written.
It's like Tyler Durden and the guy from Falling Down, Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
It's one of those. I've seen like a starter pack for
you
people.
don't want to be like Patrick Bateman.
No. Bad idea.
It's hip to be square.
Yeah.
Dun.
It's a great critique on like the materialistic.
Copyright strike.
Yeah. Hey, you slowed it down.
Are you a fan of the fact that you can see yourself in that little screen?
It's probably distracting. It's good for like positioning.
Yeah.
If I'm too far over here or climbing all over you, yeah, no, that helps. It's good that it's small. Like I can't really see a lot of details. So.
Oh, that's weird.
That's right.
I would prefer it to be bigger.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd then just be lost in my own.
Yeah.
It'd be like a mirror.
So, in a controversy, Amazon has had a bit of an issue when an Amazon device proceeded to tell a small child to basically stick a screwdriver or a pencil?
There's
or
a penny into a wall socket. I don't know
into
why.
A live wall socket.
What's going on there?
Don't do that, kids. That's all I have to say about this matter because
none of us are going to read the article.
I don't work for
it's
PR
certainly,
for Amazon.
No. There's certainly some commentary to be had on like how much we're letting technology babysit our children and how, it's a bit of a Black Mirror type situation there.
Yeah, it's definitely borderline. And also the lockdowns, I feel like definitely didn't help that. Hawkeye.
Right. See it all?
Yes.
Good man. Watch something. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it felt a lot more grounded and real than maybe any of the other TV, like Disney Plus, Marvel stuff. There were 9 Marvel MCU projects dropped last year. Out of those 9, I think that would be in my top 3. I think you'd have...
Was it 9? I swear we had like one thing every month.
I just listened to a podcast and they said it was 9.
Oh, yeah, you're going to take it to another podcast. Okay, all right.
I'm not going to mention it. You know which one it is. It's just... There was a whole thing. And they did a list. They ranked them in order.
It's one of 2. It's either something about Kevin Smith or it's like the angry cunt.
No, you're talking about like Angry Joe or whatever.
I don't know.
I haven't seen any of his stuff for a while.
Because he's fucking shit.
Ooh. Wow. He went there. Watch out, Angry Joe.
What's he going to do?
Coming for you.
What's he going to do?
Yeah, he's not going to fly over here and he's going to ignore you. That's probably the most...
Cool. Yeah. This isn't going to get to him. We have like 13 viewers.
Yeah, I'm a bit pissed off with Letitia Wright.
Now, here's the thing. This is the only report of this that I've seen.
Really? Yeah, but I've seen other people talk about it. I've seen other like links regarding her anti-vax stance and all that. And she was like, okay, you've lost Chadwick Boseman we need an Ironheart, or we need a sort of a new
Lead.
for that franchise. They had to rewrite it God knows how many times. They are filming it maybe right now. I'm not sure. They're in production. So if she fucks up, like the actor who plays his younger sister, what the fuck are they going to do? Like, I know you can replace actors, and you know you've done it with Rhodes, you've done it with a bunch of other people, but I don't know.
She was good. She had a certain amount of charisma, but what you
that breaks my heart, because the whole like, what are those, and all her, she just had this real spunky. She reminds me of, in terms of charisma, like she's up there, I think, with Zendaya when she's being playful. Like that sort of like, she's beautiful. She's got this like sparkly, effervescent. I don't know. It's a bubbly kind of like, yeah, let's see what she's going to do next. Anything could happen. An unpredictability. I don't know. So that really makes me sad that she's kind of taken herself out of the running there.
It sounds like to me that you bring Killmonger back from the dead.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're going to use him in some way again, whether it's flashbacks or God knows what. He's a pretty busy guy.
Because actually, if I remember correctly,
he's currently directing Creed and
he
writing
is
Creed
meant
3.
to be in the next Black Panther, but he's confirmed to be in the spirit world.
There you go. I mean, they've got that whole angle. So I don't know if they can bring someone back from the spirit world, but that's an obvious cameo that you have to use, because he's one of the most, well, the audience's favorite characters. He's one of those bad guys where you're like, yeah, that he was kind of right.
Those Maybe are the best bad
methods
guys
weren't the greatest, but yeah, we get it. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm hoping that she can sort of shit out, because I do like her, and hopefully it's just a brief trip down the conspiracy rabbit hole.
You started Boba Fett.
Yes, I have. I don't know when number 3 is dropping.
Today. It's probably already out.
Oh my God. But yeah, no, the first 2 are quite good. I was a little...
That Wookiee gonna fuck somebody up.
Yeah, he's actually a known character. He's got a whole backstory. And I'm excited to see where they go with that.
And those Hutts,
he's intimidating.
I understand.
The twins.
They're twins, but it's a little bit like, how's she going? You know, you go, ooh.
They're a bit sitting too close to each other?
Yeah.
I mean, they're aliens. It's a cultural thing. I don't know. I'm not going to judge.
And they're also Hutts, so.
Yeah. I mean, they're gross enough as it is. Why not add incest? Like, how much?
I wasn't going to say the word. Great. There goes our monetization. I mean, we
already had the whole, like, Leia making out with her brother at one point. So,
yeah.
Why not add it with aliens? Let's just turn the volume up a little.
Star Wars. Weirdness. A little bit of incest.
Yeah. Just, you know, like to spice things up now and then.
Is that your lightsaber?
Pornhub can't monopolize
what are you,
all the incest.
What are you doing, Step Jedi?
Yeah. There's more jokes there, but I'm not smart enough to get there. Yeah, so no, I've enjoyed that. There's a lot of really obvious references to Lawrence of Arabia and pretty much any other film ever shot in the desert, but that's how they do it. They pull in a lot of inspiration from classic directors. And I was listening to an interview with the cinematographer, and he was Kevin Smith's DOP in Clark's. Like now he's doing
DOP.
He's basically the guy doing all the DOP for Boba Fett. And one of their rules...
For the people who don't know, director of photography...
Yes. And one of the rules they have for Boba Fett is that all the shots that they do have to have been possible in 1977. Like they want to emulate the original Star Wars films.
I get that. I sort of feel that, yeah. There's nothing too over the top about it. It's quite grounded.
And it's interesting, they did build a full-size... It's not a tauntaun. What are those things called? The giant elephant-looking desert camel things. Those giant they tend to use their bodies as
hairy
cover.
Fuck?
Yeah, those giant hairy things. Anyway,
with the tusks?
Wampers maybe?
No, Wampers are the Wampa rats are the little.
Listen to this today. I should remember.
No, aren't Wampers the fucking snow thing?
No, the tauntaun is the snow thing that he carves.
Yeah, no, but isn't the Wampa the fucking snow like bear? Oh
yeah, maybe. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. If you've seen it, there's only one, right, that they actually made, and it's got like 4 guys inside it. The others are all CGI, but even the one that they made, it's got like a mechanical thing where it can walk around and it has a certain gait to it, and then the CGI will copy that. So I just think it's really cool how much they've gone away from the prequels and they've gone back to the originals and done as much real
practical effects.
Yeah. So, and that really, I think you can tell, like it shows. And a lot of it's more, I know with Mandalorian, they were doing it on that special, like, weird set where it was these giant LED screens, 360 degrees around them. So you could feel like they're in some spaceship or alien world. It looked a lot more convincing than, say, just a green screen.
So how long before do you think the Tusken Raiders that he's all befriending, how many episodes in before they're brutally murdered in front of him?
Yeah, and it's like, I want someone to reference Darth Vader having taken out a random tribe a few years before. Yeah, obviously there's going to be a lot of pain to come because they're flashing back to obviously how...
Because it's set before and after Mandalorian.
Yeah. He's remembering whenever he gets into this weird like chamber that's supposed to heal him, because he got a lot of sun damage sitting out in the desert there. So whenever he gets beaten up a bit, he just climbs into this like Joe Rogan style tank and just closes it up and goes into a deep trance and remember his like post getting out of the Sarlacc pit days when he became like Lawrence of Arabia / Lord of the... What's that movie with Kevin Costner? Dances with
Wolves.
Yeah,
Dances with Wolves.
But it's Dances with like...
Tusken Raiders, yeah.
Tusken Raiders, yeah. It's like Dances with Raiders.
That's almost a fucking Indiana Jones movie right there.
Yeah. I'd like to see that. Like the musical version. So speaking of Hawkeye, because I thought we were talking about that. We just kind of rushed over it pretty quick.
Yeah.
We liked it. And then we went, anyway, Boba Fett.
Well, we liked it.
I'm sure I had more to say about like the cameos from, well, she became a main character basically. Black Widow's sister, the British actress.
Yelena. Oh,
yeah.
Yelena.
Yeah. And it was with Russians in that series. Every time they run into Kate, they're just like, they can't say Kate. They have to say Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop.
The Tracksuit Mafia do it. The Black Widow, Yelena girl does it. And then you find out at the end.
Because it's intimidating.
You know, she's going to be the next, like she's trying to come up with a name. And so they reference like Agent 98 or something. I can't remember. But it's a character that was also in S.H.I.E.L.D. So it's a...
S.H.I.E.L.D. does not exist.
Right. Yeah. I think that's what a lot of people are starting to see. Just another piece of evidence that, yeah, it happened in their universe, but that's not in our main MCU.
Remember with the whole One Division thing in the book, and they're like, we had this book, and like, no, you didn't. Yeah. No, you didn't.
They just keep doing it. But the Netflix stuff, they're like, oh yeah, Charlie Cox, he's around. You know, we like those.
I just want to see the Punisher.
Kingpin, he's around.
He ain't dead.
What's his name? He's been tweeting a lot about it. So, and yeah, you hear a gunshot.
He ain't dead. He's going to be blind.
Well, he's wearing like an arrow-proof suit because that was something they referenced in the Daredevil series, that he would wear these suits that were basically
bulletproof.
Yeah. And, you know, she could have shot him anywhere. I think what they should have done, and they've done this in the comic where they made him blind.
Yeah, so it's literally what I just said.
What?
He's going to be blind.
I totally missed that.
We're going to rewind this.
I'm not saying you didn't say it.
He ain't dead. He's going to be blind.
Well,
he ain't dead. He's going to be blind.
Well,
he ain't dead. He's going to be blind.
Well, just saying, it's weird. I do notice when I'm editing that you say stuff and it doesn't get caught by me in the moment. Blind or deaf would be more karmic in that sense because he's the one that ordered her father's death. So for her to take away his hearing would be kind of some pretty good like full circle justice because he's not going anywhere. To just bring him in for like an episode or two.
He's comic accurate with his strength, if not like almost to the point where he's a little tombstone-y.
Yeah, they're shooting from lower down. They're making him look bigger than he did in the Netflix series. And he's like outfits. There's a couple of
comic ones.
Yeah, there's some I've seen where they've got it side by side with certain comics. And it's like, holy shit, that's the same Hawaiian shirt, the same jacket, blah, blah, blah.
The white and the red.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to more of that. I don't know if they're just going to go season 2 or they'll spin it off into some other thing. That was a really good series. If you haven't seen it for some reason, what the fuck, just go watch it. It's not like, you know, with all these, I could probably pull it down to like one less episode, but I thought it was fairly tight.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't think they did do one thing
with the watch.
Like you thought it was going to be her stepfather that was the bad guy.
And he's just a guy who just really likes swords.
This is so obvious that he's going to turn and be like this arch, you know.
Because he's like, he is a character.
Obviously a bad guy, but then, I don't know, he's just helping out.
It's like, I just like swords.
Yeah. What's his deal?
I'm like, that's weird. Cool guys don't own swords.
He's just got that real like slimy look.
It's a mustache, I think.
Yeah, he's just like, no, he's not going to end up, you know.
It's a mustache mixed with the slick back pompadour.
Yeah, and it's just the way he talks. It's also smug and no, you want to.
Because we're poor, and you're upset about his money.
Yeah, I'm not. It's from an ABC article, but the problem is there's a new series that's made in Australia, which is rare because it's made here and it's also genre, and I haven't seen any good. And that could be my fault, but like genre Aussie TV or cinema since
Don't get me started. It was literally part of my whole thing for uni was Australian films.
Not enough of them, or they're always like depressing dramas or something. I did like that one with Eric Banner.
I don't know what it is.
The Dry, that was good.
But there's something about Australian content that I can just tell that it's Australian made even before anyone fucking starts talking. The lighting, the fucking, like just the
grittiness. Yeah, no, it's
just got a look.
The Subaru WRXs in this shot. No, but there's some new TV series. It's called Firebite, and I think it's already out. But the problem is, it's on bloody like AMC Plus, which you have to get like through Amazon Prime, but you're paying an extra $10 a month, and it's like, what else does it have? Like The Walking Dead? I don't know. I'm already paying for Paramount Plus so I can watch Dexter.
Oh, yeah, I finished that.
That's on, like, the last episode was last night or something.
It was Sunday. It dropped every Sunday.
Okay.
We can cover that. I totally forgot about that. I'm not going to talk about it because I'm assuming you haven't finished it.
I've watched everything but the last episode, which I'll watch probably tomorrow or Friday with someone else.
We'll save it for next time.
It is good, though. I could talk a lot about Harrison. I could talk a lot about where it could go in the next season. I'm hoping they're doing another season.
I want to hear what you're. I want to hear what you're. They could. I want to hear. I can't say they will, but they could. I want to hear your predictions then.
Okay. All right.
What do you think so far?
Yeah.
Because I was watching
right now, or
no, after we cover this part.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying that it looks like a cool series. I haven't seen any of it. This vampire thing set in the Australian outback, but it's shoved onto this bizarre channel on top of a channel. I don't know how many people it's going to reach. That's all. Like, put it out there. God.
Dexter.
I don't know how much.
Set 10 years or 8 to 10 years in the future after Dexter is
There's some chicanery with the aging. Like, apparently, Harrison should only be 16 if you're going, like, legit by the years that it's set. It's fine. He turns up at high school suddenly just going, "Hey, Dad, where have you been? I found a letter that said you were still alive, and I thought you were scared of me, you bastard. But what's the real story?" And so he's got all sorts of like abandonment issues, and
Dexter's no longer a lumberjack. He is now works at a hunting store in a place called Iron Lake. I have no idea where that is. I'm assuming it's somewhere around Alaska.
No, it's north of New York in Massachusetts. I don't know if it's a real town. Obviously, they're shooting in a town with a different name, the real location. But there is an Iron Lake. I did look that up. There is a lake called Iron Lake, but I don't know if it has a whole town.
Okay.
It's a pretty interesting way to pick up the series 10 years later. I don't know how many other shows have done that.
10 years.
No, he's kept himself clean. He's got himself in with the police department to the point where he's dating the sheriff. Chief of police. I mean, doesn't get much. I mean, it is a small town, but it's still pretty cool. She's got a very Anglo name, but she is like apparently Native American or whatever they like to be called. So that's a whole.
What do you mean by they?
Well,
I'm kidding.
People in that community, I don't know. It's a whole indigenous American. I don't know.
Yeah.
And she's got like a whole issue. Like her best friend was murdered by a serial killer, and that all sort of comes to a head.
No, she went missing. Missing.
Well,
she was murdered.
So did a lot of other women. So she's kind of also trying to find out what happened.
I did call who it was first episode.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious. Like when he walked out and shot this woman in the back, you're like, "Oh, that looks just like that other dude." And he's tall, and you can see his eyes fairly easily.
Yeah, it's the eyes. It's a little I'm like, if they're trying to hide the identity, not doing a great job.
No, and they kept dropping pretty heavy hints as it went on. Yeah. So I don't think that spoiled it too much. No. Just the cat and mouse game between Dexter and his arch nemesis, which they like to do, where they're always like acting normal in front of other people.
Yeah.
Like they both know what's going on.
But
but they
really,
can't-
what this season was about was Dexter's relationship with his son.
Harrison.
And if Harrison and his potential to have his own dark passenger.
Yeah, I thought it might be too on the nose to do that, to have him be exactly the same.
Spoilers, he does, but he
Yeah.
doesn't.
Well, he's probably a little taken aback by the hundreds of bodies that Dexter's left at the bottom of the ocean, but he's still probably also, it's hinted that he hasn't had the same
Urge to kill rather than violent tendencies.
Well, it's more that like he didn't have someone there guiding him. And I think Dexter had his stepfather
Harry.
involved a lot earlier on. So he had the code, he had all that, whereas this kid's just been set loose.
And now instead of Harry, because the actor
Yeah, he didn't have a Harry.
Instead of Harry in the playing Harry
Yeah.
in the show, because the actor did unfortunately pass away.
It's his ex-wife.
No, it is his sister, Deborah Morgan, his
in
ex-wife.
real life. Yeah.
His ex-wife.
Yeah.
Who I believe I would like to basically describe them as, because she actually doesn't really turn up until he gets his first kill again. So it's more of the personification of the dark passenger, I would assume.
Sure.
But more than anything, I know for a fact the narrations don't start. His self-narrating doesn't start till he's like back into his Dexter mode.
Yeah, I guess so. I can't remember that. Like, I feel like it was there all along, but you could be right. I feel like her performances, at least for most of the first half of the series, are a little one note. Like, she's always just like this angry, histrionic, flipping out.
Oh, again, because it's not Deborah, it is the...
I know that. Yeah, it's not her. It's who he's bringing up. Like, it's what he needs to hear.
It's his subconscious.
It's part of his subconscious going like, what are you doing? You should do it this way. And then he goes the other way. It's this internal battle. But she does display a bit more nuance as it goes on. I think there's a few moments where they sit down and just kind of chat. So that's interesting. It's just pretty good because the last season of...
I'm sorry, not Dexter, Jim Lindsay.
Yeah, which is a nice play on the original author's name, which is James Lindsay or something. The last season of Dexter was famously... Terrible. Like, everyone hated it. It was almost as... What's the word for, like, the opposite of revered? Where everyone just hates the fucking thing. Yeah, but anyway.
Reviled?
So, yeah, that's it. It sounds like revered, but it's reviled, and no one liked it.
I'll tell you this.
I think it was... Sorry, just going to say, like, the most famously reviled end of season... Like,
9.
Final season, until the Game of Thrones season 8.
It ends how I thought it would.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's only so many places I can go. He's been able to talk his way out of every discovery that his girlfriend makes so far. I don't know if he'll be able to do it this time, given she's got to have a line. And I think where he's gone so far in his life probably crosses that line for what she'd put up with, but I guess I'll wait and see. So it's compelling and it's worth watching, and there we are. We should probably move on to... God, did we have it? Vincent D'Onofrio, that's... The name is Kingpin.
I think based on the time that we're at, I
know it's getting on.
We hit on Spiderman.
Yeah, we just do Spider-Man. We forget the other news. There's something about Henry Cavill wanting to be in like 10 different movies.
Yeah, which is nothing new.
Punisher. I'm not going to bother about that. There's some controversy about a reboot of Punisher in the comics.
Yeah, with his new logo.
And a part of that reason, which I think is interesting. Oh, okay, good. Show that. I hadn't seen it yet, so that's cool. It's more copyrightable because the skull that they're using now is too much like a real skull, so anyone can just put it on a shirt. Whereas that is like you'd have to pay Disney to use that.
Yeah, it seems almost to the point where Marvel. It's like kind of representing a Ronin in a way. So
yeah, because he's joined this Asian gang, so it looks more demonic to me, but it looks like something a death metal band might have on its album cover. But yeah, I don't know. It's almost doing like the hand
Look at the
thing.
on that.
Oh god. Yeah, that's one genre music I can never get into. So we should probably move on to Spider-Man to wrap this up. Fuck, like talking about the best 5 movies of last year or the best series. I will mention 2.
We don't live in the past.
No, Curb Your Enthusiasm. I finally finished all them, and season 11 just basically finished. Fucking great show.
You should watch it.
How did I not watch it all up? Yeah, I need to. I started it once and got a bit bored, but I know it gets better.
Season 2 immediately gets
it's
better.
One of those ones that's why you need to have more than one season to let a series just, push away the weak stuff.
I recommend looking up The Implication.
I know the scenario. Yeah, Reddit's covered it fairly extensively. So, yeah. And another one I've been watching is Veep. Highly recommend it. Really good stuff. My guilty pleasure lately is probably 90 Day Fiance because it's on binge. So it's very easy to watch.
Binge.
It's trash. It's awful, but
if you want trash,
can't stop.
I'll send you a there's a reality show on Netflix where basically it's like 10 blokes and 10 girls have to basically, they've been statistically matched to someone as their perfect match, and they got to figure out who it is, and if they do, they get like a fucking share of $100,000 each or some shit.
What's that called?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Awesome. Good content.
I said I'd send it to you, not to them.
Yeah, but you know, the one or two people that are listening will need to know. We'll put it in the notes. He won't, but anyway, someone can look that up.
I'll find it now.
How the fuck would you? Reality shows statistics?
I'll find it now.
Right,
Don't worry.
Fun.
All right, well, let's wrap this up. Spiderman.
Yeah,
Aunt May dies.
If we are going to do like
Willem Dafoe's incredible.
Would you say it's a 2022 movie though? Because it did come out here. No, it isn't.
No,
it still counts as 2021. So that for me is probably my favorite film of 2021, at least impact wise. Is that Blade Runner one? That was definitely in 2020. Yeah, 2049. God, they better do another one in 2049. Just to really like, if I can.
You're gonna bring Harrison Ford back from the dead?
Yeah, something. I mean, it could be a VR. So it'll be like Cyberpunk when you go into those like games where you're running around. It's like tapped into your neurocortex or whatever. But anyway, it's up there. It's given the amount of expectation that was on the film. I'm really impressed that the director who helmed the last two as well managed to pull it together and actually exceed, I think, most people's expectations.
It's called Are You the One?
Okay. Interesting. That sounds familiar. Like I saw a series.
Trash.
Where it was like a British TV show, but it wasn't a reality show. It's a fictional show about a woman that comes up with an app which will match you with your soulmate.
That's How I Met Your Mother.
No.
Yes, literally, it's a whole concept of an episode. Is like we've got an exact, it's perfect match, 98%. Blah 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 blah. Let's play a clip from from Are You the One, which I'll put back here, but I'll show him here.
God, you've got it on
Discord.
Okay. Who uses that?
Describe yourself.
Unique. What's one word to describe yourself?
Anomaly.
You are? No, I was just like, oh, that's a black chick. That's what I thought right away. First, could have been your skin.
Wow. All right, that's pretty bad. I like Anomaly. She was intriguing me, and then this guy totally just walks into a wall.
Terrible content.
Cringe.
That's right.
Okay, yeah.
That's a black chick. Might have been your skin.
Might have been the skin. Not sure. Let's just go with that. 90 Day Fiancé is almost as bad with some of like the decisions they've made. They've paid money to get these women over to their country, whether it's the UK or America. Usually it's America. And Jesus Christ. Like, where do I start with the amount of bad decisions that are made in that show?
We'll get there. Don't
Yeah.
worry. But Aunt May,
it's
dead.
it's probably as bad. So yeah, Aunt May's dead. So there's that. Let's start.
With great power becomes great responsibility, and that's what sealed her fate.
Yeah. As soon as she said that, we knew.
Yeah, you're dead.
Oh, she's gone.
Yep.
And it was good. They did that little rally. That is a thing. When someone's mortally wounded or even decides they're going to off themselves, or
I'll be fine.
if they're in a hospice and they're really, really old, they always rally at the end. There's like a day or two left and they seem to recover and have this like more energy and they're jumping around.
The second I saw the glider, hit, I went, well, she's dead.
Yeah.
No one reacted to my cinema, and I'm like, all right, okay, because I expected it to basically be a Spider-Man 1 and like impale her.
Did you go to a local cinema?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uncultured swine out west. I don't know what else you expected. Did you at least get a reaction when?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. When the two boys showed up that we all
because
love.
it was day one when I went and saw it. Unlike some people.
Hey, it was the very next day. That was not up to me. That was up to the older child's mother. So blame her.
That's why you see it twice.
No, I like to. It's an experience I like to share with the boy, even though he saw it on opening day. For me, I wanted my reactions. I wanted him to get my initial reactions. So, you know, at least.
And I'm the blonde.
Yeah, I know. But it was worth the wait, and I don't know where to start with how good it was. There was some silliness with Doctor Strange. Like, none of that made sense. Why didn't he just like wish that good old Mysterio, that everyone forgot who he was? Because then the whole thing.
Listen.
Who
Lazy
brings-
writing and magic doesn't have to make sense.
No.
But I could fix that situation that he's in right now in like 5 minutes. 5 minutes, I could fix all that. Hell, he's so happy at the fucking cemetery. He's like, how'd you know her? Spider-Man. Me too. Oh, it's funny that you should mention that.
Yeah, I mean, at least tell Happy. He's not going to fuck you over.
Doctor Strange clearly knows who Spider-Man is still.
Seems happy to
because
put Happy in danger.
oh my god, I was glad I was interrupting you during that because that joke was not worth it. But yeah, Doctor Strange knows Spider-Man, right? He doesn't know Peter Parker, so you know you just show up in your Spider-Man costume. Boom! Hi, I'm Peter Parker, Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think he'd want to at least let a few people in on the secret. Maybe not, obviously, his two best friends and lover because, you know, he wants them to stay safe. I get that. But hey, Doctor Strange can handle himself. Happy seems almost like immortal.
Happy needs
The
something
shit
to
that he's
do
gone
now.
through. Yeah. So hopefully we'll see more of that. They're going to do
I'm very
I know
sad.
he's under contract to do a bunch more
Yeah,
movies.
3 more.
3.
Well,
Jesus.
another Spider-Man trilogy at least.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. I don't like that he's all alone, especially on Christmas. That upset me. However,
What's that line with the rent due? That they took
when you
from-
fix this goddamn door, I was really hoping it was going to be the same landlord. I was so hoping it was going to
a
be the
lot
same
of people
landlord.
were, yeah.
What I will say, I'm very excited because the odds are I will see a black cat in the next part of the next Spider-Man trilogy.
Was that kind of like the Marvel version of Catwoman? She wears black and
Yeah, I would draw that. Yeah, I'd say that.
Like DC and Marvel seem to have like a version of every single character.
Slade Wilson,
Yeah.
Wade Wilson.
It's just crazy. Yeah, no. Hopefully, we see more of everyone. Like
But,
Gwen. That there's like so many different female versions of Spider-Man. I bought a
Obviously-
Top Trumps for my son, the younger one. Oh my god! I obviously haven't read enough comics, but there's a lot of Spider-Man characters.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the Scarlet Spider, personally. If I'm going to cosplay one, when I do eventually return back to cosplay, because I'm working on stuff in secret, it will be Scarlet Spider.
Cool.
I like stuff with masks because I don't have to talk to people. Yes, the best part of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Willem Dafoe.
In terms of like the
It's
best.
not even close. It's not even close.
Actor. Yeah. No,
Stole the show.
they did the right thing by very quickly getting rid of the helmet
I think, honestly, I'm pretty sure
mask.
that was probably like a condition he had to make sure that he was the one who got to do the stunts.
Another weird, like that was one of his conditions. Is like I have to do lots of stunts at his age, given the insurance issues that would have had.
Listen.
But,
You let Willem Dafoe do whatever the fuck he wants. All right?
100%. And it paid off. Like he brings one of his most powerful performances yet, and that's saying something.
Everyone's like, oh, this is
Considering
the best
who it is.
MCU villain. And then Willem Dafoe's just sitting in Spider-Man 1, and he's just like, just wait, you motherfuckers, wait.
Yeah. The only issue I found was like none of the villains were his villains. They were all from another universe. It would have been nice to pull in someone from like his own world. Like maybe the Vulture could have crept in there somehow, made a break from prison. That would have been good to see Michael Keaton involved. That I would have
Listen, Michael
if it could
Keaton's
be
in
any
Morbius, all right? And I have a suspicious feeling that Morbius takes place at the same time as this.
Okay. Yeah, I'm annoyed that they delayed. That was supposed to come out in January, but they're trying to milk because Spider-Man's making so much money.
Oh, yeah.
That they delayed Morbius until April 1st.
I don't like that they retconned Venom 2's after credit scene.
Retconned?
Yeah, because of the whole thing of, I went back to the M Dimension. And then in Venom 2's end credit scene, he came into the MCU and then immediately was like, go on again. So there's no Tom Hardy in the MCU, but there is Venom.
Yeah, no, he had to leave a little bit of his goo behind.
Yeah. And
I wonder if it latches onto that spunky bartender.
I really, really, really don't want to see Flash Thompson as Agent Venom. Because the Flash Thompson that we have is great for Flash Thompson. I'm a kind of a piece of shit. He would be a terrible choice for I'm Flash Thompson, the military veteran who's got venom inside him.
Yeah, the one they have in the MCU, isn't it? That like nerdy kid that was like, I wrote this book because I'm his best friend. But it was
Yes.
weird that he's claiming to be his best friend and
Because
wrote a book.
because he
I
hated
didn't
him
get that.
before then.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, now he's like, we grew up together. But he's one of the ones that got into uni.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. Because he's like, hey, I'm really attached to this character. And then Zendaya and Ned,
Zendaya. Why do you say it like that?
MJ and Ned, don't get into uni because they're close to Spider-Man. But Flash does?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. But anyway, that gets fixed pretty quick. And of course, it doesn't matter because by then all the villains are in and he has to like not just defeat them, but save them. So I like that twist. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. But you know what? It would have been a lot. Aunt May would have lived, right?
Mm.
If she was a lizard. Regeneration.
Just make another spell. No, she's gotta stay down. I just thought it would have been I know there was silhouettes of more characters possibly coming through.
Yeah, there was Kraven, there was Scorpion, Rhino.
A lot of bad guys. I wouldn't have minded seeing more good people come over. Like, why not have like the Andrew Garfield girlfriend that ended up not making it?
Betty? No, I don't think that's not right. Gwen.
Yeah, Gwen. Like,
Who the
have
fuck's
some more
Betty?
people that knew who he was that weren't evil. Would have been interesting.
Yeah. She's
But
dead, though.
You've only got 2 hours.
She's also
But they
dead.
were all dead. I think only one of them wasn't dead in their world. Well, they were like, that's why when Doc Ock
Yeah,
was
but they were all
there,
dead.
and then like Green Goblin showed up, and he's like, "Huh, what the hell are you doing alive?"
Yeah, but they're all dead.
Yeah, so
Except for the tree.
the fact that she died doesn't preclude her.
I did love just like I'm sitting there watching it, and it's the scene where they're just literally just talking shit for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, what the fuck am I watching?
It was glorious. I would have been down for a whole nother 45 minutes of that. And one of my favorite examples of that, well, it's when they call each other their like nicknames, like, "Oh, you're amazing."
Yeah.
All that, and the scene where they're pointing at each other, they do that twice, I think. And the scene where Toby just
explains the web shooters.
Yeah, and they're just like, what? And then like Tom Holland asked way too many questions about where else it could maybe come from. So,
and obviously, the arrival of Andrew Garfield and all that. But then even
beautiful,
as well as that scene was done as well. Like, can you just get the cobwebs in the corner?
Yeah, and then like the Filipino mother speaking for like or maybe grandmother.
Yeah,
she was going on for like 5 minutes. None of it was subtitled. You just had to sit there and go like, okay, this is awkward. That was beautiful. Just so many iconic scenes. Like
9.5.
It's going to be referenced and memed for years to come.
9.5.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 9.3 to be different. And then so that'll be my top movie of the year. My second favorite film of the year, coming out of nowhere, would probably be Ghostbusters.
I haven't seen it.
Really?
Was going to go see it, and my sister got COVID.
Jesus. Okay, and then you got COVID.
No. I was the first one with COVID.
Right, so you'd recovered by then.
Yes, because it came out on Boxing Day. New Year's
so
Day?
it's still last year,
Yeah.
so it still fits. But I recommend it. So I'm not going to go and spoil anything, but it's like I know the one with all the women kind of spoiled it a little bit, the name for a while, even though I actually kind of found that fun. There's so much hate for it. I think that kind of stopped anything from happening for a while, but I'm glad they pumped this out just in time while at least 3 of the original 4
were alive.
Ghostbusters are alive. And that's a whole plot point in that the one that's not alive is a major part of the film. And it's a really poignant and touching, and I didn't expect to cry as much as I did at the end. So I'm not going to spoil anything else, but I recommend getting in there. And there's a surprisingly, like I thought it would all be about like, what's his name? Finn. He's got this really
Stranger
cool
Things
name.
kid, Wolfhard.
Yeah, Finn Wolfhard.
I think it's Wolfhard.
How cool is that
I'm
name?
almost certain
Yeah,
it's
no, it's Wolfhard. And you think it's all going to be him.
If that's his
And Paul Rudd.
if that's his real name,
That's his real name. And you think like, oh,
Is
it's going to
it,
be
or is it
Paul
the stage
Rudd.
name?
No, that's his name. I'll have to look it up, but I'm sure I know that's his real name. So you think, oh yeah, Paul Rudd, Finn, they'll be running around like buddies. No, it's not that at all. Paul Rudd's barely in it. It's more like he forms a relationship with the kid's mother.
so Paul Rudd was used for the trailers because it's Paul Rudd.
Yeah. I mean, he's in it. Don't get me wrong, and he's hilarious. He has plenty of scenes, but it's more about Finn to a degree, but mostly his little sister, who's played by a 15-year-old, but the character's like 12 or something.
Okay.
And looks like 8. I don't know what's going on in whatever water she's drinking. And she's been acting for a long time. I was like, who is this? Like, new out of nowhere, like, dazzling performance coming from. And when I looked her up, I was like, oh shit, she's been acting since she was like 5. So fair enough. That's not a surprise. yeah, she really ties it together. She's the glue, and the relationship between her and her grandfather, it's just perfect. So, beautiful film. That's number 2. Number 3, if I have to have one, God, I can't remember anything else that came out last year right now. There was a lot of movies because it was like 2020, everyone was at home. 2021, you could actually go to the movies now and then. It wouldn't be Fast and Furious, that's for sure.
Would it be 10 Rings?
Shang-Chi, chuck it in there, why not?
Did you hear me say that, or you just go Shang-Chi off the top of your head?
No, I actually heard you say, would it be 10 Rings?
Yeah.
I'd hate to put it in a top 3 because, I mean, it was fun and had a lot of, like, I enjoyed every minute of it, but to put it at the top of a list feels a little weighty for what it is, because it is just like a popcorn, but I don't remember it making
what
me
I will
feel
say
too
is
much.
you could write a whole thing about this, right?
Yeah.
Because Beyond Cosplay
Yeah.
is kind of an ironic term for the
Yeah.
website, considering all you seem to cover is cosplay
Yeah.
conventions, not beyond.
Yeah, well, I remember someone weirdly in the Facebook group Cosplay in Action go, "Oh, you've got this Beyond Cosplay thing, and but you barely talk about cosplay," because I used to put reviews and stuff up there, and I was like, "Yeah, but that's the point. Like, it's beyond cosplay, so it's cosplay and other stuff. It's just a really easy way to put it together."
Anyway,
So you get it.
I get
He
it.
gets it.
I get it.
Some people don't.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway, I think
that'll do.
Yeah.
First one of the year.
We're going to get to 100 this year somehow. There
Oh,
is
yeah.
12
I think-
left.
I think
that's
that's-
probably ambitious.
Is that the season? Is that the series finale? 100. We're gonna
I
wrap
had
it there.
I had a feeling you were pushing for something like that. I'm not going to wrap it. I'll find some other like hapless host to reel in and
Yes,
like
yes.
chain to the
And suddenly all the equipment is gone.
yeah. And I'm like, how do I put images behind me? Damn it!
It's like, no, not even that. Not
Yeah.
even that. How do I film it?
Well, you just stick a camera there and press record.
What camera are you going to use?
Yeah. How's it going to last an hour? Yeah.
Lighting.
Worst case, just
Editing.
go back to audio only. Like those, there are podcasts that are audio only left that still have people that listen.
Anyway, thank
the
you
end
for
of the world.
joining us. This has been the Banana Split Podcast, episode 88, sponsored by Beyond Cosplay. Go beyond and enjoy your dessert and get the fuck out.
That's what I was waiting for.
Enjoy your dessert. Get the fuck out.
That's it. Good night.
Always has to have the last fucking word, doesn't he?
No.